See how quickly. See how quickly.
Don't know.
It's about 20 seconds behind it.
Don't know. Don't know.
the end of it.
Well, I can just turn it to you as you're presenting, and then anytime I've got anything, I'll turn it back to me.
Okay.
I don't even know. We don't necessarily need that.
I hope I get on the right.
Hi,
Good evening,
Jason.
everybody.
How are you? Did I beat everybody?
Sounds pretty quiet to have 14 people out there.
Hey,
Not seeing 14 yet.
is there a way to get everybody's picture up instead of the agenda? I've got that pulled up on my
Board
phone.
members, you'll have to unmute your mics, especially when we vote.
I'm not seeing everybody. Are you guys seeing everybody?
No, not yet. Can you hear me, Jason? I'm not muted.
Yeah, we can hear you, Tony.
Can you hear Rhonda?
Yep.
Is there a way to get everybody's picture on the screen instead of one at a time?
I don't believe there is when you are sharing a document.
Okay,
I think Rhonda, there's a little like dot, and if you go to the side view, it'll show everybody's screens, like everybody's picture on the side, and you as well as the agenda.
Yep.
dot.
It's called it's like a little checkerboard looking. I don't know what the word for it is.
The right-hand corner says show all. Is that it?
Either that or it kind of looks like the side of a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, like a
3
check. Yeah, yeah.
And that should be towards the top of your screen someplace.
Oh, now I lost y'all. Hang on.
You must have clicked the single line and then
I don't know. Okay, wait. More meeting settings. Did you say meeting settings?
do you still have a bar at the top that maybe says the person's name who's speaking but doesn't show a picture?
No, I see your picture in the bottom. Oops. Shoot.
If you go down and kind of hover over whatever picture is being shown, there should be a little graphic that appears above that has like a single box, 2 boxes, and then like the side of a Rubik's Cube.
Okay, well, I just got your, I don't know. Technology.
Okay, you ready to start video? I would have something to talk. And then if you want to mute yourself so they can't hear you.
I see somebody's getting a tutorial.
Yes.
That's good.
Think we're all here?
I think so. I see Tony and Rhonda, Steve and Kip.
Who's the bat phone?
Live on?
I think everybody's here.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. It's 6:01. We're going to call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Looks like everybody's here.
All right. Will everybody please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? To the flag of the United
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we always begin each meeting with the Wabash City Schools mission. Wabash City Schools provides a relevant and rigorous education founded upon relationships to ensure each student is college and career ready for success in the global community. I'd like to welcome everybody that's joining us on Zoom and those who may be watching us on YouTube tonight. So our first attempt at streaming our meeting live. So welcome everyone. Recognitions?
I don't think we have any tonight. We got Stephanie Veit from Hagerman that's going to be presenting first up on new business. But that is it for recognitions.
Revisions to the agenda. The consent agenda, we had minutes from our March 16th, 2020, some claims, donations, financials. Can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Second, discussion?
Ms. Stone, I'm going to pull up the financials here in a minute. Or at least that's the intention.
It's yeah, I was to say, even if you didn't get it up, I can explain it. You could see by here that we're about where we've been the last couple months, about 300,000 plus down from last year. That stayed very steady. The one thing you'll notice, of course, is that operations is way in the negative. When we get our June draw, hopefully we do get our June draw. There certainly is talk with the delay of taxes being due now due to COVID, that our draw could be delayed. And so we've looked into some things that we could do if we have to in order to get through that. I don't think we'll have to, but we could. But that negative would be taken care of with that June draw, and everything else is, right on. We moved money to rainy day, and so that takes care of some of that difference, and you'll see we still have about 1.6 million.
Okay. Matt, what would be tax anticipation warrants?
Yeah, we could go through the Indiana Bond Bank and borrow money for short term if we had to. We certainly can transfer money from rainy day if we need to. I like some more to see where they're at. I've also heard maybe we could get part of our draw if we ask the county auditor for it. And so then we would get the remainder of that 60 days later when taxes then are due again. So maybe that's one way around it, is we can get part of it in June and then another draw in August.
But just to make it clear, this is a timing issue with the tax draw.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we get those big draws every June and December. And so that's why we get some of those accounts in the negative, and then they get made up for when we get those draws.
Okay.
All right. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor of accepting the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next regular scheduled board meeting will be Monday, May 4th, 2020. Right now, it's tentatively scheduled for Wabash City Hall, but we're probably going to be doing it through Zoom again, I would anticipate. We have a few lines of communication. No old business, new business, project updates by Hagerman.
And we have Stephanie Veit here from Hagerman. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you. Now starts the fun part. I've been waiting for this for so long.
Do you want me to start with the drone footage?
Yeah, that's fine. Well, before you start, Jason, just to kind of give the board an update. So once a month, I know I've sent this information to you, but for the rest of the board, we will be doing a monthly board update at your second board meeting of the month. So it'll be myself or Adam or Dylan doing those updates. We do like to do drone footage so that the board doesn't have to go to the project. So we bring the project to the board and you guys can see what's actually happening out there, especially now that you might not be driving by it because you're not going to work or to school. And obviously there's no kids there, but we have started and have a significant amount of work done. So what I will send to Jason is any kind of pictures or drone footage that will show, as well as the construction progress updates. And those are done on a weekly basis from our project engineer. So those will give the board also some good pictures and information as to what was completed this week and what's on the docket for next week. So you guys will be getting those at least at a board level once a month, and Jason gets those weekly. So yeah, you can go ahead and start it, Jason. This is, we did a quick flyover of LH Carpenter. So as you can see, we have completed excavation prep and we have the column footings already poured there. And so they are ready for the foundation to actually start going up. They're doing some plumbing there now. So that moisture barrier and rebar will go in next week and ready for the slab to actually be poured. This is coming up to the Coolman Gym, and we have started excavation on that wall there. So we've started demo. We have the inside actually walled off, and we've put some visqueen up. So that probably wasn't on that project update sheet, but that happened this week as well. So that inside of that gym is protected. So that will continue next week, that wall demo, and they'll start putting the concrete into for the footing walls there. Did it pause, Jason? Oh yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. And then the last little bit of this video, we haven't started any work on the track and field project, but we thought it'd be really cool to kind of get some before footage and then do a before and an after when it's all done. So this was just a flyover. As you can see, nothing on the field or the track has started yet, but just kind of a before, so we can get a before and after look at it, because that will go pretty quickly in terms of what you guys actually see. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you guys have any questions. You can see a good overview site there of LH Carpenter.
And I've got, Stephanie, I've got some of the boards too that we're working
nice.
with Co to the connector. This would be the front of the Wabash Middle School, the connector to Wabash Middle School, Wabash High School.
Yeah, some of the renderings there. Yep.
This would be the interior.
Some site work out there, but there wasn't really anything to actually get a picture of. So obviously we'll add that into the mix as we start moving. Some more significant things happen out there. We have pulled the bleachers away from the wall, so that is we are starting work on the inside of that whole wall coming up. Yeah, those are neat renderings. So Jason, are you putting any of this on the website or?
Yeah, we're going to, I kind of wanted to bring it all together, and maybe right before we got the actual posters, we discussed posting these at the corner of Albert and Harrison.
Yeah.
A good traffic point for all the projects. And so we were talking about putting these out on social media right before.
Okay. Yeah, so anything that you need from us on our end, I sent you the link for the drone video, so feel free to put that on your website if you guys are gonna unfortunately, the kids may or may not see that since they're not coming to school every day now. So we wish we would have got some kindergartners out there when we're getting ready to pour that slab, but we'll do it in the fall.
I would just like to say, I've been so appreciative of the communication with Hagerman, as well as Barton Co. I feel, and I'm sure Mr. Stone feels the same way, just feel like we're really on top of the projects. And if there's a silver lining in any of this is that, having students around has not been a concern. And so I know at LH Carpenter, we got a little head start on some of the projects. So, but I really appreciate, Stephanie, the communication and the updates from you and Dylan and Adam. And we will have our next construction meeting this Thursday. And at the end of that, Barton Co. will also work with building leaders to do kind of a walkthrough and make sure we have loose equipment identified, things like appliances and desks and things that just so that we're not surprised when the project comes to an end.
Right. Yep. Good. Well, thank you, Jason. We appreciate it.
Yep. Any other questions for Stephanie?
It looks great.
Stephanie, just one quick question. With the schools empty and construction having begun already, are we weeks ahead of schedule now? Are we just slightly ahead of what our schedule would have been? I would assume some of this work wasn't going to happen, especially Coolman, until after school let out at the end of May. So how, in your estimation, how far along are we compared to what our schedule would have been?
I think we are a little ahead on the connector and a little ahead on the Coolman gym because of no students being there. I think all the work that's happened at LH Carpenter has pretty much been the same construction schedule that we are expecting since we're doing an addition. There's no tie into the existing school yet, and we were going to do that first because we were going to wait for the kids to get out of school. So I'm guessing we have at least a good 2-week jump on Coolman, at least right now. And I'm not sure about the connector. I know we're able to get on that. I'm actually going to be on site tomorrow with the superintendent, with Sean, at the middle school and the high school at the connector, and to see what's happening out there tomorrow. So maybe after our meeting on Thursday, I might be able to better answer that. But I would say at least right now, we're talking at least 2 weeks. We got pretty, we had to mobilize a little bit quicker. So it did take us a little bit to kind of move it up in schedule and get the people out too. So, but yeah, we're a little ahead of schedule right now for sure.
Thank you.
Anything else for Stephanie?
Well, thank you.
It looks great.
I'm going to go ahead and stay on, and I'll mute me. So I'll be here if you have any other questions.
All right. Thanks a lot, Stephanie. And
Yep.
I do want to mention as well that Barton Co., Willem, Brian Bolander, and Amy Sanchez both had offered to be here. So at any point during any meeting, they're willing to be here to answer any questions, but they're a part of the bi-weekly construction meetings as well. So just wanted to mention that.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll move on. Item B, approve resolution to petition the Department of Local Government Finance to increase the Wabash City Schools maximum permissible ad valorem property tax levy. Have a motion?
So moved.
Motion to a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion?
First off, since this is all new, Matt, are you getting those first and seconds?
I am.
All right. I didn't know if we needed to throw up a hand or here.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Okay. And I'm going to turn it over to Matt to talk about this a little bit. But again, we lost due to a filing error some of the tax levy. And all I'll say is I really appreciate Mayor Long and Senator Zay because they worked really hard on ensuring that we were able to get this back. Mr. Stone or Mr. Tandy or both may want to weigh in on this resolution.
I'll start and then I'll let Jordan explain the resolution. But what happened is the city moved a board meeting and they announced it to the public and they put it out to the public through announcement notice, but they didn't change it on Gateway. And so the DLGF and the sticklers that they are said that our operations budget had to stay at last year's levy, and the city's entire budget, except for debt service, had to stay at last year's levy. So this resolution, and once again, like Mr. Callahan said, I thank the mayor for really digging in and thank Senator Zay for helping us out. The state legislature made a ruling that we could capture that levy, that lost levy, back next year. And so for us, it's about $70,000 to $75,000, which is straight out of our operations budget, and you don't want to lose anything. And so we know now at least that we'll get that back next year. The cities is much more substantial than that. So, Jordan, you have anything to add about the resolution?
No, that pretty well covered it. It's just a procedural step to allow us to petition for funds. The statute.
So we can get that lost levy back the following year.
Any questions for Matt?
Good.
Okay, no questions. Then those in favor of approving the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item C, approve retirement of Lori Overmeyer as English teacher at Wabash High School at the end of the 2019-2020 school year. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion?
Yeah, I just would like to obviously thank Mrs. Overmeyer, who started out as Miss Bishop, for her time in service to Wabash City Schools. Lori's been an English teacher. Again, the 15 years I've been here, she's been here. She was one of the first teachers that welcomed me as a assistant principal, and has been a great addition to our English department for a long time. And so I really am happy for Lori. I'm sure she will continue on serving this community, different capacities. And again, I just want to thank her for her time in service.
This was her 32nd year at Wabash City Schools.
Thank you, Mr. Stone.
All right, any further discussion? No, those in favor of approving the retirement, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item D, approve recommendation to add a Title I position to assist with academic remediation at O.J. Neighbors Elementary for the 2020-2021 school year. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion? Yeah, our vision statement is building a legacy of opportunity for all students. And we know that all learners learn at different speeds. And we certainly also know that foundational skills early on are so paramount for later acquisition of knowledge and development, academic development. And so our Title I positions help students who may be falling behind in content or just may need some one-on-one attention. And so we've discussed for a couple of years about adding another position. And so I'd like to, again, put forth this recommendation. This will be a position at the O.J. Neighbors next year. And it certainly will help support getting all students on the same playing field. And then once we approve this position, we have a couple other actions, sort of like the domino effect that we typically see.
Any other discussion? If not, then those in favor of approving the recommendation, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item E, approve recommendation for Alicia Draper to transfer from second grade dual language English teacher to the Title I position at OJ Neighbors beginning the 2020-2021 school year. Have a motion?
So moved. Second.
A second. Discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, Ms. Draper is a veteran teacher at OJ Neighbors, and she actually was hired initially in a title position, so she's well equipped to do this position. Requested this of Ms. Tracy, and again, I would make this recommendation to move Ms. Draper into this position.
Any questions? Those all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Item F, approve recommendation for Michaela Duzan as the second grade dual language English teacher at OJ Neighbors beginning the 2020-2021 school year at a rate of $35,000 pending an emergency license.
So moved.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion?
Yeah, this is one of those situations where I think we see the challenge and made it into an opportunity. Ms. Duzan had been a student teacher for us and was highly recommended when we needed a kind of a gap fill for Mrs. Draper's class in the middle of the year, and she did a wonderful job. We're very pleased, and we talk about people, not programs, all the time. And as we were rolling into March and April, I knew that Ms. Duzan had other opportunities, and so by taking this action, we ensure that we keep her as part of Wabash City Schools. So I'd make the recommendation that we hire Ms. Duzan for this position.
What is what's her degree in?
It's actually physical education, but that's why she needs the emergency license.
Mhm.
Yeah. But again, we've had the opportunity, from time to time, we'll get a student teacher where we get to, try them out, so to say, and see them in the classroom. And this is a great example of that, where she's demonstrated to Ms. Tracy that she is an excellent teacher. And so we want to be able to retain her at Wabash City Schools.
Any other questions? Those in favor of the recommendation, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Item G, accept resignation of Tyler McQuiston as head swim coach for WHS and WMS. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion?
Yeah, thank you to Mr. McQuiston for his time and service to our kids. I believe Mr. McQuirtle has several good leads for our next swim coach. And so thank you.
All those in favor of accepting the resignation, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Items from superintendent.
Just a couple updates. The Indiana Department of Education required, because of this unique situation, they required us to all school districts to create a continuous learning plan. And basically, this was the way that they were able to have some accountability over how schools are offering education during, again, this unique time of virtually e-learning, where we're all quarantined, not able to see each other face to face. And so our plan. They also asked us to put this on our website. So this is at our website. It's published there. Each building principal or building leader is going to talk briefly tonight during the items from visitors on their continuous learning plan. So I will let them move forward. Mr. Whelan is here too to talk a little bit about graduation and our plans for prom. Again, a lot of things are still in flux as we are looking at another 2 weeks of staying at home. And so we're looking at multiple different ways to recognize our seniors for all the hard work and to be able to celebrate them here at the end of the year. I did want to mention that our last student day is May 20th. At one point in time, we thought that was going to be the 22nd, but it is Wednesday, May 20th is our last student day. And then summer school options, we're still looking at this. We have been told by the Department of Education and Dr. McCormick that we really should be focused in on virtual learning. So we're looking at all options with summer school. We did a Wabash City Schools survey for our parents, and I want to thank all parents who participated in that survey. We got about 25% participation, and what I think is really encouraging about right now is that we have a lot of grace from our parents, and we were really humbled by the positive responses that we received, that so many people understand that this is a really unique situation. But again, we see this challenge as an opportunity to really kind of incubate and learn from e-learning so that we can deliver a better product in the future. And so I'm really proud of our teachers. They continue to work really hard. I know we have waiver days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I know our teachers and our students are doing work 5 days a week plus. And so this is a great opportunity for us to get better at this, really learn from this experience. I wanted to thank First Lady Janet Holcomb. We had the opportunity, and I think Ms. Tracy will talk about it, but we had an opportunity for one of our elementary classes to Zoom in with her last week. And that I was able to watch that Zoom meeting, and it was very, very great opportunity for our kids to be able to connect with a state leader. And so I want to thank her. Again, I want to thank Mrs. Honeycutt, our food service director, and all our cafeteria workers for all of their hard work. And we've also had other staff members that have volunteered. Some have even brought in their kids to be able to serve food at 9 sites on Mondays and Wednesdays. If people who are watching aren't aware of those sites or those times, those are also posted on our website, but I want to thank them. I want to thank Mrs. McBride, our transportation director, and our bus drivers who have been driving to those sites and helping out. I also want to thank Mr. Maxwell. It's funny, it feels a little bit like summer. Oftentimes when the kids leave, people think that things shut down, but in summer they really gear up. And with our projects through Hagerman, things are really gearing up. And Mr. Maxwell's been on the site and providing us daily pictures and updates. And I'll give him an opportunity too. I think he's maybe out there if he has anything to add. And finally, I want to thank Wabash High School senior Taylor Kaufman, or at least recognize him, he's got some academic accolades that I think Mr. Whelan's going to talk about, but Taylor has received several accolades during his time at Wabash High School, and they keep rolling in, and he just kind of epitomizes, I think, especially the senior class. We have so many strong academic kids and kids that feel like their future is really bright moving forward. So I'll tee up Mr. Whelan for that. And with that, I'll be done.
All right, any questions for Mr. Callahan? If not, then items from Chief Business Officer.
A couple things. Let me add in about the cafeteria and Mrs. Honeycutt that while it looks like we probably won't be able to do our regular summer feeding and have kids and people in the buildings in June, Melanie's already making plans to take 1 week off at the end of the regular school year and then start summer feeding up just like she's done the last 5 weeks. And so we won't drop the ball on summer feeding. We'll find a way to get it done. And I'd like to tip my hat to Mrs. Honeycutt for already working on that and trying to find that way to do that. I'd also like to thank our head custodians. While, we've locked them out of the buildings, they've helped us out. They've went out and worked on our grounds for us. They're still in doing building checks to make sure there's nothing wrong in the buildings. And they've picked up the slack on the outside and mowed some grass and whacked some weeds and took care of stuff for us outside that we're going to need them to keep doing until the end of May. So I appreciate what our head custodians are doing for us too.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Stone? Okay. Other items from visitors?
I can just reiterate, and I want to ditto what Jason said about Bruce helping out with us. Anything that we need in terms of getting in the building and working with our superintendent. Fortunately, we have an awesome field of superintendents as well as concrete crews, and lots of people are having to shut down because of COVID-19. A lot of our projects have actually had to speed up, and we haven't really missed a beat. So we will do our best to keep it that way, ahead of pace. Hopefully we won't have any delays with materials of all this, but we appreciate all of your grounds and your custodians and Bruce, and it's been phenomenal. So I just want to ditto that.
Thanks, Stephanie. I don't care. Kathy, you want to kick it off? I think you might be muted, Kathy.
There we go. For LH Carpenter, it's this experience with COVID-19 has been a challenge for us, but we have rose to that challenge. We're not one-to-one iPad, so we've had to take a different spin. We did packets the first 9 weeks, or the first few weeks, and then when we were no longer able to get back in the building, we took to 2 different types of platforms. Some teachers opened up private Facebook pages, and we just got a couple teachers on Class Dojo. So they are delivering material now through videos, uploading videos, and many of them are setting their classrooms up in websites like Happy Numbers, ABC Mouse, Laleo, Epic Books, and then they can track how their kids are doing and check in with them that way. Boom Cards is another way. They're giving them some activities to do. Most of the teachers are Zooming, whether it be for socialization, just to see their friends, because you can imagine a Zoom like this with 4-year-olds. Attention span is kind of tough. So most of it is for socialization. I think our DLI, I think Amanda's doing some lessons through the Zoom, but most of the others are doing their video with them that way. We did push out surveys. We were asked from Mr. Callahan that each one of us in our buildings for each grade level come up with some surveys that we can ask our parents, what are we doing well? What do we need to improve on? So we're excited to get that feedback back so that we can continue to make improvements. That's LH Carpenter.
Thank you.
You ready for OJ?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so to reiterate what Kathy said, it's been interesting, absolutely. I remember March 18th was supposed to be our first e-learning day for professional development with our teachers, and we had to go full swing a few days before that. So I wanted to just be able to give an update on instruction and what it looks like at OJ. Kindergarten through second grade uses the platform of Seesaw to their lessons, and third and fourth grade use Canvas, which is the same in the middle school and high school. Like Kathy said, they are becoming experts at Zoom and providing live instruction, opportunities for kids to connect socially, and then even some help sessions once a week to be able to support the parents helping the kids. So they are adapting very, very well and working very, very hard at it. Grades and report cards has become quite the discussion, especially at the elementary. And we have decided that kindergarten and first grade for the fourth quarter will have a pass-fail to count for their grade per se, and then grades 2 through 4, they will have their letter grades, and those will be based on the third quarter report cards, and teachers have the autonomy to raise kids' grades based on their work during fourth quarter, but we will not be penalizing any kids or lowering any grades for students or failing them at that. So that's an update on grades. I'm proud of the special education department. They're holding all of their meetings via Zoom with the families, and each teacher is able to individually connect with kids and parents to meet the needs of those students as well. Our Title I team in High Ability, they don't have a classroom per se. They service over 80 some kids. So to be able to do that is a little bit more challenging. So during this time, they're working really hard at investigating different professional development and resources for the staff. Mr. Callahan talked about Janet Holcomb being able to Zoom with one of our fourth grade classes. Cassie Grove is the teacher who was offered that opportunity to show the kids. There were probably 8 to 10 kids that participated and asked questions, and you always get kind of nervous thinking about what fourth grader kids are going to say and make sure that they're professional. And I was blown away at how well they did and the level of questions that they asked. So that was really, really exciting. We have, I wanted to be able to share really quick some celebrations and challenges. Our teachers have worked extremely hard and have adapted so well through all of this. I think that, we hold weekly PLC meetings with each grade level, and those teachers, the amount that they learn in 1 week's time is absolutely amazing. So that is definitely a celebration. Kathy mentioned the surveys that the teachers each sent out to all of our families. We're looking forward to getting those back and being able to support families and do the best job we possibly can. And then, there's always some challenges that come with it too. I think the biggest challenge is these little ones, you don't know what they go home to every day, and to be able to support those kids and those families without internet or without Wi-Fi, that's just always going to be a challenge for schools. So I'm proud of Erica Cordes, our social worker, and Beth Philippi, the assistant principal. They have gone above and beyond to be able to help reach all families during this time. So I'm really proud of them. That's OJ.
Okay, Mr. Mattern.
All right. I think I'm unmuted. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for this opportunity, Mr. Callahan. A lot of what Emily said, I think, and Kathy said applies to us as well. Our main, I guess, advantage we have in a situation like this is our kids are very familiar with Canvas. So our curriculum and delivery is all through Canvas. A lot of our communication is through Canvas as well. So the kids have had about a year to get ready for that. As Emily alluded to, it probably would have been really nice to have that actual e-learning day on the 18th. And I think we as a staff and a corporation, we're definitely prepared for that. But the kids were going to come back the next day, right? And we get to see them again, and we could talk to them, and we could learn from them that way. That didn't really pan out the way that is. So I think that one of the biggest challenges, I think, probably for any school corporation, and I know Kathy and Emily, and I'm sure Kyle will agree, is just the communication with kids and tracking down and finding the parents and communicating effectively with them. The processes for the middle school are still very much the same. We're expecting them to get their work done, and we want them to continue to learn. That's our primary goal, providing some motivation for them to want to continue to learn. And the teachers have done an amazing job of being creative in what they're providing for them. Lots of videos, lots of YouTube, lots of videos of themselves, just lots of ways to bring the curriculum to the kids. So that has been fun, and it's been great the way we have grown, I guess, in that sense as professionals. But again, that big piece, I think probably what I'm most proud of, and this won't surprise anybody, I think, that's had anyone go through the middle school. Relationships are crucial to what we do. We can't see our kids and motivate them in person. And so the amount of contacts I think our staff is making with students and parents is unparalleled, probably to any other time that we've done that. And each grade level team has a shared document with a office staff member. And so we all have a dedicated grade level that we are communicating with to support parents and students, to make sure that we can get them through this process. So it's going pretty smoothly. I think we have some good turn-in days, and we have some other days that the homework isn't as solid. And so we spend some more time on the phone. Statistically, I think we're looking at a turn-in rate on most days of every assignment is right around 67 to 70%. We usually trickle in another 15 or 16% off of that. And then we still have some outliers there that we're chasing down. And that being said, I want to thank Mr. Hipskin, because if we are having a difficult time tracking someone down and making sure they're okay, we shoot him a text, and he's out and gets with them. Because sometimes the phones aren't working, or it's not a convenient time for the parent or the child. On another communication point, I think it's funny, and if there are any parents out there watching, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you. A lot of times I will make a phone call and the parent will say, hold on one second, and they will connect me directly with the student. I probably had 5 or 6 of those today. That sure makes the process easy and fun for me to talk to the kids again, and hopefully simplifies things for the parents as well. So I feel like it's going very well. I'm incredibly proud of our teachers. I think the work that they have put in and the time that they put in to communicate with the students and each other and with us as a middle school family, because we are pretty tight, it's humbling to me to sit back and see all of this in the way that this tiny community within our bigger community has come together to support. I haven't talked to Mr. Callahan about this yet, but I think I also have about 250 to 300 more employees. So I do want to make sure that I thank the parents. There's no way we could be successful without them. And I know they aren't on our payroll. And I see some of their funny memes that are out there about wanting to transfer their kids to another class or something. That's pretty good stuff. But huge appreciation for them. I know this is difficult for them, and I appreciate that they are willing to pick up the phone, call the middle school, email, whatever, and get the support they need. So I would say the rock stars in all of this are probably the teachers and the parents, and they're pulling some of the rest of us along on this ride, and we're learning a lot. And I know we're going to put some great things together in the future, but it has been a fun experience, one that I look forward to being over, because there's no doubt we miss our kids and miss our teachers. So that part has been really rough, I think, for all of us. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thanks, Mike. I was surprised to not see a wig or like a.
Well, Lindsay cut my hair a couple days ago, so I'm feeling pretty good there. I almost wore a mask just to keep you guys safe, but I figured this might be live and there might actually be someone out there watching, so I should be on my best behavior, Mr. Callahan.
Thanks, Mike. Kyle.
Yeah, so at the high school level, obviously we've been fielding a lot of questions, mostly around seniors. You know, this spring is a huge time, and a lot of activities that typically go, you know, on during this time. And you know, first of all, I'd just like to, you know, extend my best wishes to all of our seniors. I can only imagine how discouraged a lot of them are. I've had a chance to talk with a good number of them. You know, I'm sure all of us remember our senior year, and there's a lot of fond memories of all those end of the year type progressions. All of those, you know, me arguing with them why they have to come to school, and they don't get to do any of that stuff. And I really feel bad for them because they're missing out on a lot of those, you know, last time experiences, you know, last concerts, last sporting events. And, you know, some of those things just aren't going to be a possibility. But those two big ones with prom and graduation are something that, you know, we are very committed to trying to make happen, even if that's something that happens later on in the summer. So, you know, I had a chance to meet with some of our senior leaders, and they, while they, you know, they definitely value prom and want to be able to have something where they can all get together and celebrate like that. Graduation was the most important thing to them. And they really wanted to be able to have as formal and traditional of a ceremony as possible. And so, you know, it was from them, the sounds of it was they would rather delay it and have the possibility of doing something you know, that's more like what we've had in the past, than do something right away, and their friends and family maybe not be able to be a part of that. So we're still working through our options with that. Obviously, part of that has to do with restrictions being lifted. But you know, I have a great group of my prom committee is awesome. My senior class sponsors are awesome, and you know, they're committed to, you know, working through this with students so that we can provide both of those memorable opportunities for our kids. As far as graduation, though, one of the big pieces is what's going to happen with these seniors. You know, they're all of a sudden with the last 9 weeks of school, they're not in class, and what happens if their grades start to slip. And you know, Dr. McCormick and the governor came out with some statements regarding how seniors are going to graduate. And so really the simplified version is if a student was on track to graduate and they complete their course, they will still graduate on time. And so, you know, as long as they put the effort forth and they're doing the work, even if they do receive an F in the class, the state has given permission for those students to still graduate. And this is the first class that's ever been a possibility. It's not the same for our 9th through 11th graders, but our seniors, as long as they were on track to begin with and they complete the course and put that effort forth, they will still graduate on time with the rest of their class. Same with dual credit students. We've been working with Ivy Tech. All of our dual credit courses are going to be able to complete the dual credit coursework. And so any student who was on track for dual credit this second semester will be able to earn that. And then same thing with Heartland Career Center. You know, as much growing pains as the rest of us have had, Heartland Career Center, I give them a tremendous amount of credit, because when you're talking about most of the courses out there are, you know, hands-on, you know, they're not typically using a learning management system. They really didn't even have one. And so the growth that they've shown, or the efforts that they've put forth in the last, you know, month or so, to make this a possibility and for our students to still get their coursework out there is impressive. So, you know, I give a lot of credit to those teachers out there. In addition to that, if you saw the social media posts, they were making some personal protective equipment for area people. So, you know, they've been really busy. So I want to make sure that I extend the recognition to Heartland Career Center, because that was a huge transition for them to be able to go to e-learning, and they've really stepped up to the plate. our 9th through 11th graders, I alluded to that. They still will be able to earn all their credits, but it is a little different. They don't get the same leniency that the seniors get. They will need to pass their classes and in order to get credit. And so we've been working really hard to help with them. And just like some of the other principals alluded to, you know, that getting all students to participate is a big challenge, but we have several things in place as far as the teachers being able to fill out student concern lists. If a student is not getting stuff completed, or the quality isn't what they're used to, or they you know, hear rumors that we have some concerns, they fill that out, and the guidance department, myself or Mr. Galley, will work to create those connections with the with parents and students alike to see what we can do. So on those highlights, yes, Mr. Taylor Kaufman was recognized as an academic all-star, and that's something that the Indiana Association for School Principals, we all are able to nominate them, and there was a total of 280 different districts who nominated a student, and they select the top 40 students from around the state. So, you know, we do nominate a student each year from Wabash High School. And at least in my time there, that has been the first time that we've had someone be or earn that honor. So congratulations to Taylor Kaufman. That's pretty special, and something that we definitely want to recognize. And I think that is all I had for the high school level, but I'm happy to field some questions. I know that things are a little different for high school, and when we start talking about graduation and stuff like that. So.
And Kyle, I also wanted to mention, found out today that Taylor was also a semifinalist for the U.S. Presidential Scholars Program.
Oh,
as well. So
very impressive.
Another incredible accolade for Mr. Kaufman.
Mm-hmm.
If nobody has questions for Mr. Whelan,
I do have one
okay.
question. Sorry. We typically have an awards day where the students get recognized for academic awards and scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
We can't have that this year. How are we planning on communicating that information to students?
Mm-hmm. We are, so there's two different things that we're talking about here. The one is the academic lettering and National Honor Society banquet, which is something that we typically have right at the start of May. And so the academic letters in the National Honor Society, we're not going to necessarily be able to have that induction ceremony this year, but we're looking at doing the induction at the start of next year, so we have that ceremony. The academic lettering, we've already done all the legwork to do this. I mean, the awards, we already know who's going to be recognized. And typically for that one, we have teachers who speak on behalf of each one of the students who receive that academic letter. So we're looking at doing something as far as recording those and then putting those out on our school website, you know, making sure that we obviously notify the parents and students and get them the plaques and the academic letter and the cords that come along with it. But that's kind of how we're looking at doing that one. The bigger one that you're probably referring to is, you know, the end of the year, we present all the scholarships, which is a huge day for us. You know, we give out, you know, over $300,000 worth of scholarships each year. And so that's a really big occasion. And we also recognize our teachers are able to give out individual classroom awards. We are still working on what we'd like to do with that. You know, depending on when these restrictions, since it's at the end of the year, I don't know if things lessen up, if there's a possibility that we're still able to do something, because I know, you know, some of the people who have funded the scholarships like to be able to present those to students and stuff too. So right now we're in the, we just received everything from the Community Foundation to help determine those scholarships. And, you know, it might be something that, depending on, you know, are the restrictions lifted, and then maybe we can do something that creates a space where where the kids can be honored. The people who have created the scholarships can be a part of that. Ideally, that's what we'd like. If we can't make that work, then it'll probably be a very similar thing where we video basically the presentations of those awards and share those out, which isn't ideal, but it might be the best that we can do at this time. But yeah, the scholarship day, it's frustrating because that's always one of those really special occasions for our students when we're recognizing their academic accomplishments.
I've also asked Mr. McQuirt, our athletic director, to give some updates as well. Floyd?
Thank you, Jason. Things have been a little crazy trying to figure out athletics. Obviously, the IHSA has canceled the spring season, and which is pretty rough, especially for those seniors who don't get the opportunity to play again. We do have a few going on to the next level to play, but most of our kids will not, and so it's pretty tough on them. And so we're trying to work through that a little bit with our coaches. We're having bi-weekly coaches meetings to kind of talk through some things, what we can do. We're also looking to start our leadership meetings for our students on a bi-weekly status as well. Meeting with some of our sophomores and juniors for next year, that'll be juniors and seniors. Talk about what we would like out of our leaders, what we expect, and some things that we can work on. Some of you may have noticed we've been putting senior spotlights out through social media and our athletic website for our seniors for the spring this year. We're just trying to recognize them the best we can because they didn't get that opportunity to play, kind of get their names out there. Some other things we've talked about is we started today putting some workouts online because we do have some kids that still want to compete at some level and they want to stay in shape. So we started to put workouts for kids through our website online for them to kind of go to and see. A lot of them is workouts that they can do just with body weight. And if they have equipment available, they can go ahead and try to work on those as well. This year we've had our TRC meetings here the last couple of weeks. We've talked about what we're going to do next with the TRC and with our awards. We're going to go ahead and continue and go ahead and give awards for this spring season academic wise. We should be getting those out here probably in the next couple of weeks and just use all those kids that have been involved and signed up for the sports this spring and recognize them. Along the same note, a big discussion has been varsity letters, JV participation, and so forth. I've had discussions with our athletic association around the state. We've kind of come to pretty much an agreement that anybody that was a senior that was signed up to play through Final Forms will earn a varsity letter this year. Any student in grades 9 through 11 who are signed up will need to come back next year and participate, and whatever letter they earn that following year will be what they get from this year. So it'll kind of depend on what they do this next year. Let's see here. Some other things that we're going to do is talk to the coaches. I have a meeting this week with them. We're going to talk about what summer may look like if we can't be in there. If we can't be in the facilities, what can we do to offer our kids to be able to get ready for next season? Coach Hanley, Coach O'Neill, I've talked to them a little bit about what we can do, and they're part of that workouts that we've been putting online as well. I believe that's all I have at this time.
Thank you, Floyd. I know Bruce Maxwell came in late and it wasn't his fault. I sent the invite and I didn't admit him into the meeting until about 2/3 of the way in. Bruce, do you have anything to add project-wise? Stephanie gave a good presentation, gave a shout out to you.
Okay. No, I think we're moving along pretty good, and if the weather continues to cooperate, we'll move along a little quicker, I think. I look for the pad for the gym to be done probably later this week. So.
Great. Thank you for all your work.
Hey, thank you.
Bruce, I have a quick question. What day is a good day for me to carve my name into that pad?
You can carve it in all you want because it'll get covered with concrete, Mike.
Yeah, but I'll know it'll be there, man.
Hey, there is some gym floor that if anybody wants some of it, we could probably give it to you folks. I was thinking about calling Matt and talking to him about it. I mean, he's been a coach there for a long time. That's just going to go in the dumpster. So
We're gonna raffle that stuff off.
do what? You're going to raffle it off? Okay.
I was gonna say, before we have half the community coming tomorrow to pick up gym floor, maybe Floyd's gonna like this one. Maybe I should have him contact the athletic office.
My email is available.
Okay, sorry.
That's all I've got, Jason.
All right, thanks, Bruce.
Any other items from visitors? All right. Items from board members. Tony?
That's really hit pretty hard with what Heartland is doing. I just want to add to that
Hey, Tony, could you, for some reason, you're kind of muffled.
okay. Not better?
Yes.
It might be my computer. Heartland has worked pretty hard at figuring out a way for all of them to get an opportunity to get their certification they've been working on. The building trades, even though completing the house. That's pretty cool. The CDL class is going to be able to get all of their drive time in those big rigs. So when they're done, they'll be able to get their certification. They may not get it done by graduation, but they will extend into the summer. But they're really, as Kyle said, they're working hard to make kids. That's all I have.
Okay. Rhonda?
I wanted to, I know we're all thinking this, but thank the teachers again, and encourage parents, if there's any watching, to reach out to their child's teacher if they're struggling with e-learning. I know Benjamin and Evelyn's teachers have been fantastic. And one of them said that, they don't know what the problems are if people don't reach out. So I just want to encourage parents to reach out to their teachers if they're struggling. They're always available by email and they usually respond pretty quickly. So that's what I want to say. Just encourage you to reach out and get help for your student if you need it.
And if I could interject real quick too, thank you, Rhonda, for that. If for some reason there's a breakdown in communication with teachers, they can also then reach out to the buildings. And so there should be pretty prompt response back. I feel like our faculty has done a really good job at getting back to people, but if for some reason they're unable to connect, contact the building specifically and they should get a response back within a day.
All right, Stephen?
Hang on. Just wanted to thank everybody administration wise for doing what they're doing. I know teachers have been lauded very well, but administration, thank you for what you guys keep doing. And then also it's pretty exciting going on bike rides around here with the kids, seeing all the improvements around the gymnasium. Every day Grace is telling me different changes happening. So it's a neat time. It's a weird time right now for everybody, but it's a neat time for us. That's all I got.
Yep.
Nothing.
All right. I too want to just thank everybody. This is some trying times that nobody's ever been through before. And I certainly appreciate everything from our staff and our administration to get e-learning up and running and continuing on with that. Thank all the parents and kids who have been very flexible with what's going on and just really proud of our school system and how everybody's come together. So just a big thank you to everybody. I want to thank everybody for joining us on Zoom and those who tuned in on YouTube for joining us tonight. And with that, I'll accept a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.